Alright guys, Unprofitable Diaries. I have absolutely no idea, but in today's Unprofitable Diaries video I will be covering something called fair value gaps, which is one of the strategy stones, one of the building blocks to my strategy. I'm having a cold right now, so if I sound sick, that's why. But fair value gaps, I will go through my understanding of fair value gaps. What is a fair value gap? How do we use it? And what does it mean? Like, what is a fair value gap basically? So now, a fair value gap is a imbalance in price action where there are a gap where no wicks are connected. That is my understanding of a fair value gap. Short answer. So there's two different kind of fair value gaps. There's a fair value gap, and then there's an inverse fair value gap. And in order for us to understand inverse fair value gaps, we have to know what a fair value gap is. So a fair value gap is an imbalance in price action where there's a gap where no wicks are connected. Now, as you guys can remember from one of the first videos, the wicks are like the tails of the body. So it's places where the wicks aren't connected. So in order for us to locate a fair value gap, we need to look at 3 consecutive candlesticks. The middle one has to have a gap where the wicks of the 2 candlesticks on this candle on each side of it are not connected. So we have to have 3 consecutive candlesticks, and the middle one has to have a gap where no wicks from the 2 candlesticks on each side of it are not connected. Where the wicks from the 2 candlesticks on each side are not connected. Super. So first I'm gonna draw this. Which is, no, I'm actually not going to do that because that's going to be impossible to show. But I will just try real quick and show you guys what a fair value gap is. So we need to have 3 consecutive candlesticks, and there has to be a gap in the middle one where the wicks on each side of that middle one is not connected. So if we look at this right here, we have, maybe I should find an arrow real quick. I think I can do it. Yeah, there we go. Arrow. So we have this candlestick, then we have this candlestick, and then we have this candlesticks. These are 3 consecutive candlesticks in sequence. Now, the fair value gap is, here we have 3 upgoing candlesticks, and the candlestick in the middle, which is this one, the wicks on each side of the ones on the side are not connected. So there's a gap. That is basically it. There is a gap where the top wick of the one on the bottom wick on the one on the right, and the top wick on the one on the left, there's space, there's a gap where the wicks doesn't touch each other. So for example, if this wick would have been up here and this wick would have been down here, then there would have been no fair value gap because there is no gap. There has to be a gap between the wicks. Alright, cool. So you simply just mark this out from that wick to that wick, and then I have a template here called 1 hour fair value gap. So then I know when I'm over here watching it, I know it is a 1 hour fair value gap I'm looking at. So that is basically a fair value gap. Now, why are they even fair value gaps, and what can we use them for? When we have upgoing candlesticks where the gap, yeah, upgoing candlesticks. How do I describe this? Upgoing candlesticks. For the 3 consecutive candlesticks is a bullish fair value gap. So in this scenario, it is a bullish candlestick because it is 3 upgoing candles. A bullish candlestick is a candlestick where we will come back into, and then we will go high probability that we will go higher. That is basically it. So if it is a downgoing candlesticks for the 3 consecutive candle is a bearish fair value gap. So we have upgoing candlesticks. That is a bullish fair value gap, which means that is a high probability. First of all, it is a good magnet. It is a good draw on liquidity. This is a draw. There's a high probability when market opens next week that we will go down to this 1 hour fair value gap and fill it, maybe the equilibrium of it, and then perhaps go higher. That is a probability. But no matter what, no matter what time frame you're on, it doesn't really matter because fair value gaps works on all of them. But the higher the time frame, the more higher probability that the fair value gap will get filled. Now, bullish fair value gap, a fair value gap that price will come down into and then perhaps go higher, and a bearish fair value gap is a that price will we'll say likely, so we just come up into and then perhaps go lower. Note, a fair value gap has to be what I'm trying to say is that you cannot only just say, all right, we touch this fair value gap, as soon as we touch it I will buy, because there has to happen other things in order for the fair value gap to be a good setup. So you have to combine fair value gaps with other strategy stones for it to work. Back test. Now, what is backtesting? Backtesting is when you go back in the past and you find a day, and then you act like it is real live markets, and then you try and enter on using your strategy, so you can see if your strategy works on previous historical data. So you cannot only use fair value gaps. You have to use what we talked about. Liquidity sweeps is a good thing. Then I use liquidity sweep or a drawn liquidity as a fair value gap. Then I use a break of structure, like we've talked about. When we break above a high, we will likely go higher, or if we break below a low, then we will likely go lower, depending on what time frame you are on. And then I also have to use something called inverse fair value gaps, which I will talk about in the next video. And there will also be equilibrium, order blocks, breaker blocks, SMT divergences. These different strategy stones, you have to combine them in order to have a strategy that works. You cannot only just use one of them and say, okay, now we have broken structure to the upside, so now we're just gonna buy it, because it could perhaps be a liquidity sweep. So that's why I also have to use liquidity sweeps, and you perhaps also need to use a fair value gap, for example. So I'm just trying to teach you what a fair value gap is. Now we found a bullish fair value gap because it's 3 consecutive candles. Now I'll try and see if I can find a bearish fair value gap for you guys. So, here we have a bearish fair value gap because we have one candle, 2 candles, and 3 candles. 3 downgoing candlesticks. All 3 doesn't have to be downward candlesticks in order for it to be a fair value gap, a bearish fair value gap. But note that the candlestick in the middle, if it is a upgoing candlestick, then it's a bullish candlestick, a bullish fair value gap. If it is a downgoing candlestick, a bearish candlestick, and there's a gap, then it is a bearish fair value gap. But now we'll focus on this one. So just ignore this one up here. I'll just draw it out. That doesn't matter. Ignore that, because that is also a fair value gap, but I'll just go through that later. You have 1 candlestick, 2 candlesticks, 3 candlesticks. You can see the bottom wick of the one on the left and the top wick on the one on the right are not connected. This means that we have a fair value gap. Boom. Now, if it was a bearish fair value gap, it is a fair value gap that price will likely come up into and then perhaps go lower. Now, what did we do? We go down here, we create this massive fair value gap, then we go down, then we start to come up again, and then we come into the fair value gap because it is a bearish candle fair value gap. Now, when we come up here, perhaps there's happened a couple of things here, like some of the other confluences that I use and that I will show you guys my understanding of. And then I could have sold here, shorted, and then I would have made money because we fill the fair value gap. And then, as you can see, a bearish fair value gap is, first of all, it's 3 downgoing candlesticks, or at least the middle one with the gap has to be a downgoing candlestick, a bearish candlestick. We come up into it. Bearish fair value gap is the price will likely come up into and then perhaps go lower. We come up and then we go lower. That is a fair value gap, bearish fair value gap. Now, absolutely, as we can see, the one above is also a bearish fair value gap. Because we have 3 candlesticks, it doesn't have to be the same color, but we have 1 candlestick, 2 candlesticks, 3 candlesticks, and the one in the middle is a downgoing candlestick, and the bottom wick of the one on the left and the top wick on the one on the right are not connected, which indicates that it is a fair value gap. What do? We dump, create this fair value gap, then later on we come back up into the fair value gap, and we then start to dump. We then come up again, we doesn't touch it fully, but we touch a new fair value gap. So firstly, this is a bearish fair value gap, we go down, then we start to come up, we touch it, then we go lower. But now, as you can see here, what are we doing here? Then we have 1 candlesticks, 3 candlesticks, 2 candlesticks, sorry, and 3 candlesticks. And what do? The one in the middle, you can see there is a gap because the one on the left's bottom is not connected with the one on the right's top. So we have a new fair value gap. And as soon as we go up and fills the middle of a fair value gap, the fair value gap is most likely invalidated, which means we will not come up again. There's a very less likelihood that we will come up there again. But we create this new fair value gap. We go down, create the fair value gap, then we come up again. This is a bearish fair value gap, which means we will go up in it and then go lower perhaps. We create a bearish fair value gap, we go up in it, and then we go lower. That is another one. That is another, yeah, that is actually another one. Pretty good examples we have here. Now, that was actually everything that I can come up with talking about fair value gaps. I think. So it's basically just math. You have the fair value gap, you come up into it and go lower if it is a bearish one. If it is a upgoing candlestick that creates it, then we are bullish candlestick, bullish fair value gap, and we will likely come down into it and then go higher. The last example, and then I will hop off right here, is this one. You have 1 candlestick, you have 2 candlestick, you have the 3rd candlestick. The one in the middle, as you can see, the one on the right's bottom is not connected with the one on the left's top. We'll connect the 2 wicks, so we have the imbalance price action. And as you can see, we create the fair value gap, we go up. Then we come down into it because this is now a bullish fair value gap because it was a bullish candle that created the gap, which means we come down into it and then we are bullish because it is a bullish candlestick. We fill the middle and then we absolutely skyrocket. So, cool. That is my understanding of fair value gaps. Now, I haven't said this in a lot of videos, so I'll tell you guys. if any of you out there are profitable day traders, then I would definitely recommend you guys. I would be very happy if you guys told me if I was wrong in something, because I'm still unprofitable. This is not a series where I'm trying to teach you guys how to become profitable day traders. I'm just trying to show you guys what I've learned as a 16-year-old day trader so far. Been learning about day trading for a year soon. So I want to let me know down below if there's anything I've missed or if I'm not correct. You can contact me on social media. That was basically the video about fair value gaps. Now there's another thing that I want to tell you guys. Size doesn't matter. Isn't that wonderful? A fair value gap that is very, very small, like this one, bullish fair value gap. This is very, very small. Just because this is small, it doesn't mean that it is less likely to get filled. Price will 100% come down here at a time, probably, and fill this fair value gap. And this is a big fair value gap, but just because it's big, it doesn't mean that it's going to get filled. Of course, this is closer to the price action, of course, so that will get filled first. But just remember that size doesn't matter, because if it is a very small fair value gap that you're trying to target, just because it's small, it doesn't mean it won't get filled. Well, it will probably get filled anyways. So keep that in mind. Size doesn't matter in fair value gaps. That's going to be everything for this video. The next video is going to be about inverse fair value gaps, which is another confluence, another strategy stone, in order for us to build the strategy that I use. You guys, thank you for watching this video. Make sure to like, subscribe if you like this content. I'm just trying to show you guys what I've learned so far as a 16-year-old unprofitable day trader. I'll start probably showing my trades here on the channel as trade recaps. I'm trading demo for about 2 months now, and if I'm profitable on these 2 months on demo, then I'll buy in top step eval probably. That's gonna be how this will be. So thank you guys for watching this video. Tomorrow is gonna be inverse fair value gaps. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.